It's the Game of Roses. Welcome to the Game of Roses. This is the Game of Roses. Welcome to the Game of Roses.
Welcome to Game of Roses, the Space Case.
This is Bachelor Clues, and what a wild week we had this week, Pace Case. There's a lot of news to get to, obviously.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw in every possible way.
Yeehaw, y'all.
That phrase can be meant. We are going to cover so much today. We have so much news. We have a great state of the game coming up that has to do with one Maria Georgas. We have all those parasocial plays that are coming out of Stagecoach. And we have some screams, some very interesting screams coming up. But before we get
to... And a Royale wedding.
Yes, a Royale wedding. A Royale wedding. Before we get to any of that, however, we have to, once again, make a plea. Can we please have screeners? We need those screeners. Without the screeners...
It's for a good reason.
It is. It's to help the pit grow. If we can get screeners, we have some big plans for something we want to do Monday nights, perhaps live and in person here in Los Angeles. So we are looking for any way that we can get screeners. And I should also say, I've received many DMs about screeners. People saying, I would love to be a screener. And some people, I think, don't know what it is.
Be a screener.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, I think some people might think that screeners are people who watch our show early. I think that's what some people may think.
We should set the record straight. That is not the one we're looking for right now. Maybe sometime in the future.
Right.
We don't have that kind of setup right now.
Screeners are early copies of The Bachelor and Bachelorette. So some outlets who cover the shows get copies of The Bachelor and Bachelorette the weekend before it airs on Monday night. And so they can watch them early and, get their thoughts together and have their podcasts and coverage of the show ready to come out Tuesday morning. That's what we're trying to get is early copies of Bachelor and Bachelorette. If anyone can help us.
Currently airing seasons.
Yes.
That's what we mean by screeners. We are too Hollywood. We're so sorry for the complex terminology. The people who might have access to these are people who work at NZK on the show. Anyone who knows any of those folks, let us know.
Yes, we would be eternally grateful if we can acquire these screeners. But now let's move on, Pace Case. Let's start this show as we always do with Game of Roses. State of the game. Okay.
I'm so excited for this state of the game. I screamed when I saw it.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do we even begin this? Yeah, we're recording this on Thursday. So yesterday, Maria...
Here's how we begin it. Oh. Hey, Daddy Gang. Thanks for tuning in, Daddy Gang.
I mean, yesterday was wild, to say the least. Maria Georgas went on Call Her Daddy, which is to my knowledge, the second biggest podcast in the world. It is hosted by Alex Cooper, and it's second only to Joe Rogan. To my knowledge, Maria going on the show. First of all, we should just say this: I covered this entire thing. If you want to see me watching the entire video of that podcast, go to our Patreon at patreon.com/Game of Roses. You can watch it with me in Clues Corner. We also have on YouTube a kind of cut down version of that, kind of the highlights, at least what I thought were the highlights of her appearance. A lot of very important things were said. Perhaps, and we're going to talk about those now, but perhaps the most important part of this, at least in my opinion, is that it occurred at all. That Maria Georgas, who is still right now under her year-long contract with the show that states she cannot make any media appearances or create any media of her own for 1 year after the air date of the final episode of the season in which she appeared. And that was only a few months ago. Joey Graziede's historic Bachelor season 28. She cannot make those appearances without the express permission of the show's producers. So not only did she get that permission, they must have consented to her talking about what she talked about in the show, which included why that she was Bachelorette for a little while.
They probably had to send them screeners, you're saying?
Yes.
To watch the episode before.
I bet they did have a screener. I bet they had a person there watching and listening.
From The
I
Bachelor?
would guess. Yeah, because there are a couple of things in the video as you're watching it. There's a couple of times where they just cut a chunk out, and it's an abrupt kind of jump cut, and you're like, all right, what did they say there? I don't know. I don't know what was left on the cutting room floor, but there were some things that did not make this edit. That said, the things that did make the edit, she talks about, again, being Bachelorette for a few days, I guess, why she denounced the crown, why she threw it away. She talks about having a flirtationship with one Nick Viall.
Let's go.
A few days after he got married, this podcast comes out. I believe they recorded it before that, though. And I would assume also that that's where some of the edits came from. I think whoever at NZK and the producers and stuff watched this, and they were like, lose that, lose that, lose that.
You think they made them take out lurid details about Nick Viall?
No, I think it was more around like Bachelorette stuff. She also...
Yeah, that is shocking to me. I feel so excited about this event even happening because it shows that the show is forward thinking. They're like, hey, let's get our biggest names out there. She's promoting The Bachelor and Bachelorette, even if some of the things she's saying aren't like ideal. It's getting the show out there to this huge, huge audience.
Exactly.
It's mostly women.
Yes. You don't want to force the story to be withheld. You want Maria Georgas out there on the second biggest podcast in the world talking about all
I
this
learned
stuff.
it was Georgas from the promo also.
Same.
My apologies for the mispronunciation.
Me too. But you definitely want her out there saying all this stuff so that people who don't know what she's from, don't know what The Bachelor is, are like, who is this girl? She's hilarious. Let me look her up. Oh, it's The Bachelor?
I want to watch her season.
Exactly. I want to watch her season, and I want to see what's going to happen next. I agree with you. I think in terms of it being, state of the game worthy, the biggest kind of game movement we're seeing with this is exactly what you said, Pace Case. The producers now kind of get it, maybe. Maybe they don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is a one-off thing. But you have to start asking yourself, God, I hope not, but you have to ask yourself, why are they allowing this? Why are they letting her talk about having had the Bachelorette crown and given it up? Why are they letting her... She, at one point, starts talking about
they didn't talk about this. They hid this from the whole document in the After the Final Rose. She was in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just curious, if they have plans for her. Is she somehow going to come back into the fold? Would they do... It's hard to try and predict if she could be Bachelorette season 22. I don't know. I think her name will kind of be in that mix for a while, but it's impossible to predict because what players are going to be in Bachelor season 29? They will have kind of first priority as the next incoming Bachelorette of what will be season 22. But if there's nobody in that crop, if they don't have anybody like a Maria,
or is Daisy Kent still in the mix, or is she out?
Well, we'll get to that in the news. I don't think she's in the mix. I think she's in a different mix. Let's call it the billionaire mix.
Everything's coming up Daisy.
Yeah, she's taking a page out of Madison Pruitt's playbook, I think. But there's a part in this interview where Maria talks about Wells Adams and basically shuts him down.
Christmas morning.
It's unbelievable. She says in this interview that Wells Adams, kind of said bad things about her. I don't know if this was on a podcast or where he was saying these things, but she essentially says that he claimed Maria tried to have all these stipulations when she was going to be an incoming Bachelorette, that she wanted to have her phone and she wanted to have one of her friends be a producer on the show. She doesn't outright deny these things.
She's like, I want my friend Tyler Cameron to be the host.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm not asking for it this time. Then he slips her $1,000. She doesn't outright deny these claims, nor does she corroborate them. But what she does do is say, "Hey, Wells, shut up." She says that. And then she and Alex Cooper go on to kind of talk about how Wells is this person who's been clinging to the franchise for a long time. And at one point, I guess Wells said, "Maria will be forgotten." And so Maria's like, "You think I'll be forgotten? I don't even know who you are. You're already forgotten." She says something along those lines.
Ooh,
I'm paraphrasing.
Shots fired.
Yeah, don't take my quote verbatim. But to have that happen in this interview, to have NZK and the producers watch the interview and leave that in, also says something to me.
So, do you think they definitely got to like look at the cut and approve it?
Yes. I think absolutely.
I
There's
just
simply
wonder.
no
I'm
way they
like,
would
call
allow
her
her to
daddy.
do
Maybe
this.
they don't let you.
Well, one of the other things that was revealed in this episode was that when Maria was Bachelorette, the plan was she was going to make that revelation. She was going to announce it on Call Her Daddy. That they had that scheduled. And then Alex
So
Cooper says...
that's how it could be a one-off. She's just Alex Cooper is a huge fan of her.
That's essentially what Alex Cooper says in it. "I'm a huge fan. That's why I'm having her." But she had Nick Viall and Natalie Joy on too.
Right. The
mean,
choices are interesting. Colton, Joyal, and Maria Georgas.
Yeah. But I think Maria Georgas is, to me, she's the most contemporary of anyone in Bachelor Nation.
She's way
kind
more
of
contemporary than
Yeah.
those two.
She's the most important figure right now in Bachelor Nation. Will Wells Adams' prophecy come true? Will she be forgotten? I think that remains to be seen. She did
That's
mention...
such a crazy statement to say.
Yeah.
And just like mean for no reason.
There's a
Be
bitterness
forgotten. We'll all be forgotten.
to it, I feel like.
Sorry.
Of course, the earth will turn to dust. We all know this. But there is something in the statement from Wells that to me connotes a bit of bitterness. He is somebody who has truly clung to the franchise for all it's worth since his first foot stepped out of the limo. He wanted to be the Bachelor. He was never the Bachelor. Instead, he became a kind of...
I remember when I watched that season, I wanted him to be the Bachelor.
Interesting. God, what kind of season would that have been? But he never made it. He never got to wear the crown. Instead, he wore kind of a perpetual fool's crown as this goofy bartender in Paradise who's doing these bad jokes and putting on wigs and making fun of the players and
Patching up the truth box.
yes. He has always been a guy, in my opinion, this is just my take on it. I don't know him at all.
Making fun of scallop fingers.
Making fun of scallop fingers, yeah, and making fun of people getting hit by waves. He just seems like a guy who has tried to insert himself in the franchise in a very meaningful way, in a way that is like, I have some domain here, some dominion over what's happening. And that's never just been true, honestly. He is a hired, on-camera piece of talent for Bachelor in Paradise, which now looks like it's not even coming back for season 10 because last season was so bad.
I mean, if BIP ends, that's going to be... I don't know how well that quote is going to hold up.
No, I agree. Because I don't think they're going to have Wells Adams come in to host like a group date or something in the main show. If he's not the bartender in Paradise, absolutely. No way.
You don't think they'd have him on for some sort of like drinking competition or mixology something? Wine tasting?
Why? I don't think so. I just don't think he's like a thought in the producer's head who's making a season of Bachelor or Bachelorette. I don't think they're like, how can we get Wells Adams in here? I don't think they think of him at all. He's like a part of Paradise, an insignificant part at best. Like, you don't need him to do what he's doing in Paradise. You certainly don't need him to show up in a main season.
They haven't brought him in for a main season, have they?
I don't know if they have
Not that
or
I can remember. But
not
they're
that I can
certainly
remember
not going to start doing it once BIP is off the air.
Exactly. I don't think he's like a valuable enough piece of kind of the overall Bachelor puzzle to really think about or try to get him into the show. He has served his purpose in Paradise, and if Paradise has come to a close, I feel like that's that. You know, would they bring Jorge Moreno?
Jorge Moreno.
Exactly. Please, I would much rather see him host a group date than Wells Adams, honestly.
I think he should
Just
come
my
back.
personal preference. Yeah. But this interview that Maria did here on Call Her Daddy is exceptionally significant. Again, we don't know if it's a one-off. I hope it's not. I hope that this is, telling of what's to come for Bachelor Nation, that the producers are loosening the death grip they've had over all of these different players' careers and media appearances when they come off of the main shows, and they're going to let them go out and talk a little more freely, because for what it's worth to the producers, this helps build the fan base of your show. You want players to be able to come out and talk immediately about all the controversial stuff that's happening in the nation, especially if they're at the center of it.
Absolutely. You want as many eyeballs as possible. People already think it's for TWR. People already think that everyone goes on to be an influencer. Lean into it and get more viewers. Like, it has to keep evolving, or it will be forgotten forever,
And I think
as our humble bartender says.
I think also it's true that, we know people go on these shows to become influencers, to become reality stars. We know that. Don't treat us like that's not the case. People do find love. People do get married, have babies, all of that. We'll talk about some of it in the news today. Mm-hmm. But that's the exception. It does happen. That's the exception. We all know that. So let the influencers influence. That's what we're watching the show for. We like it when people get married, have their babies, and oh yeah, that makes us feel good, and the process does work. You have your proof of process there, but the thing we want to see is exactly what we saw on Call Her Daddy. Why did Maria say no to the crown? I didn't even know the thing about the flirtationship with Nick Viall. I mean, that was rumored because of he liked a bunch of her posts.
I had seen screenshots of the likes.
Yeah, and now the unlikes. He went through meticulously and unliked all that shit.
That's tough.
I know.
The cover-up's always worse than the crime.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, in terms of the Viall of it all. His position in Bachelor Nation is one, I think, of control, or at least from his angle. He needs to control narratives within Bachelor Nation. He needs to have
that's why he does all those voicemail tactics, the only talking on the phone, etc. It's
it's smart. Don't leave a text message
one
behind.
Way of doing it.
Don't leave a DM in somebody's inbox that they can screenshot.
Threatening people to take stuff down, to unquote things, etc. I don't know.
I mean, he definitely does damage control behind the scenes, but I think even in front of the scenes, he's trying to maintain some semblance of the gatekeeper of Bachelor Nation. And he's doing it, quite frankly. I think he is that guy at this point.
I saw he pinned to his Instagram a post of an article that was how this Viall podcast became the Meet the Press of Bachelor Nation or something like that.
Yeah. And that's largely his publicist getting those articles written, but good on him. Those are good articles. That's good optics to have out there. I do believe he has, in my opinion, he's kind of the most significant, podcaster coverage person in Bachelor Nation until now. This is what the Call Her Daddy thing did. She's it. That's where you go now. Viall is
hope so.
Small potatoes.
I hope she... I mean, the fact that you're talking about, in my mind, minutia of Bachelor Nation, like Wells Adams on Call Her Daddy, this huge platform, is hilarious. And this is part of why I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I've listened to this podcast a bunch before. She's super charismatic and talented. And then for Maria to do this, I'm like, 2020 Gore has come true. All of my dreams.
Not all. We still need screeners. If that happens,
except for screeners,
then
obviously.
This is truly 2020 Gore. But congrats to Maria on this. It's a massive coup, I think, to get the producers to allow this. And congrats to Alex Cooper, Call Her Daddy, on essentially, I think, becoming the podcast of record for Bachelor Nation. I think this is where you go to tell your story now. And if you can't get on Call Her Daddy, that means something,
Ooh.
It's I don't want to Viall this out, but there are now tiers. not TEARS, TIERS. There are levels to this.
I didn't know what you meant, but yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Cheers to this stuff, yeah. Of course. Call Her Daddy is obviously number one. I guess Joe Rogan would be number one, but
I don't think a Bachelor person has ever
have
been
they
on
had
Joe
Bachelor
Rogan.
people on that?
Not to my knowledge. But now if you're coming out of Bachelor and you have something to promote, something to say, whatever the case may be, Call Her Daddy is
Spill
where
your
you want to
tea.
go. Then I think it's
Yes.
Viall. Then it's probably Bristow-ish. I don't know where Happy Hour even ranks in it. Like the official Bachelor
not
Nation
high.
podcast is
Well,
an afterthought to most of these people, I would say.
that's part of why this is State of the Game is traditionally that's the only podcast that they would let these people go on.
Yeah.
You're not getting new listeners. You're not getting new people who don't watch Bachelor already.
I mean,
It's
if
just Bachelor fans.
the Bachelor producers are smart here, they try to pipeline straight into Call Her Daddy for every
Yes.
player who gets kicked off, like they used to do with Happy Hour, like you're saying. Just try to get them on Call Her Daddy now and make Bachelor basically become a part of the culture of Call Her Daddy in a very real
Yes.
way. When that
I
season
think
is
you
on,
go,
see if you
here's
can
the
get.
tiers. Number 1, Call Her Daddy.
Uh-huh.
Number 2, Viall Files. Number 3, Game of Roses.
I love it. I love that. Yeah. Game of Roses is obviously your third choice.
I'm being real, you know?
I am too. But that's it. That's our State of the Game. We've got Maria Georgas appearing
Don't
on Call
worry,
Her
there's
Daddy.
more of it to come later in this episode for Parasocial Plays.
That is
In
true.
case you're not satiated yet.
That's right. We will satiate you no matter what. But that's essentially the state of the game here. I mean, it's a gigantic shakeup from top to bottom in terms of how the producers are allowing their players to go out and talk about things, in terms of Call Her Daddy really now embracing Bachelor in a way that again, they've had Nick Viall, or she's had Nick Viall and Colton on and stuff like that, but this felt different to me.
They
It
were
just felt-
leads.
yeah. Felt different.
They were leads. It was long after their season. This is the shooting star coming off of the most recent season. So I think it's very different and so great for all of us.
I agree. That said, let's move on, pace case, to our next segment. This is a segment that we only do during the off season. What are you watching?
What are you watching? So I'm watching, well, look, Clues and I don't think we have really the same taste in media, except for Bachelor
That's probably true.
and 90 Day.
Yeah.
You suggested, you said you have to watch Baby Reindeer sight
yeah.
unseen. Don't even read the log
Right.
line. And I did. And I watched until there was a sexual assault scene and I stopped watching. But I watched a bunch of it. But it was very scary and dark. And I was pretty confused why you told me to watch it.
It's the number one show on Netflix. It's dominating every other show.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is going to be able to do whatever he wants now, probably for at least the next 2 or 3 years. I believe that show will win every Emmy, every Golden Globe that it's
But
nominated
me, it's too scary for me.
for. Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize. I just knew that it was a unique piece of media.
You know,
that was gonna change stuff.
Taylor the Rex. That's all I'm asking. I also
apologies.
you didn't know that, yeah. I just can't watch that. I can't watch SA. I just can't.
All right.
I
Understood.
don't want to. For the future. I'm watching
Noted.
things in a different genre, though, this week.
Mm.
I finally made a Palapa Vanderpump Rules season 11, the current season, or the most recent season now, episode 3. I am going to try to churn through those in order to get to the Valley, which I've heard is great, but time will tell how fast we do that. I caught up on Summer House. No, Southern Charm, rather.
Okay.
Caught up on Southern Charm, and then I watched 2 romantic comedies. Anyone But You, the Blonde People movie, and then was recommended Plus One, which is more like the quirky friend version of that movie.
Interesting.
And they were both fun and cute.
Great. That's interesting.
You seen those movies?
I have not. I have not at all. I've been too busy watching something else.
They're about weddings.
I'm aware of what they're about. And the Sydney Sweeney Glenn Powell one has revitalized the rom-com industry, if you want to call it that, which I'm very happy about for personal reasons. That said,
I'm happy about that for you and for the world.
Oh, thank you. And the world thanks you. I did start watching the new 90 Day. I don't even know how to. It's 90 Day.
Is this an OG?
Paradise or something. I don't know. It's not the 90 Day Fiance. It's one of the offshoots, but it's new.
90 Day Paradise. Okay.
Maybe it's 90 Day Paradise. I don't remember what it is. It might be that, but it may not be either. It has one of the most disturbing human beings I've ever seen on any television show as one of the main characters. I think this guy's name is Kyle. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. He is a hobbyist, and his hobby is inseminating women.
What did I just tell you, Clues?
There's no sexual assault.
Okay.
This man finds women who want to get pregnant and don't want to go through the hassle or expense of going to a sperm bank. He flies to where they are, or they fly him to where they are, and then he donates sperm to them.
Just like in a cup.
He says, at least now I've gone down the rabbit hole. I watched a Vice documentary on him. I watched all kinds of shit. He claims 95% of the time it's in a cup, but occasionally someone will want to just have sex with him.
Oh my God.
And so this guy...
He's like, but I do it for that 5%.
Basically. So this guy is now in Malta with this woman who has kind of contracted his services, but also they kind of have a thing. So they're seeing if it can work out. And immediately off the plane, he's putting her on a point system. If you do this, that's negative points. And if you do this, that's... It's wild.
Scary.
I've never seen anything quite like this. And it does call into question the ethics of the producers, in my opinion, by having this guy on this show.
I mean, I think a lot of 90 Day seasons have made me feel like that. And in part, that's kind of why I liked it a little bit, is it's just like, wow, this is wild. We're watching this. Because a lot of them, especially in the beginning seasons, they felt like kidnapping stories where there's such a disparity of like money and age that you're just like, this feels like a kidnapping.
They've kind of turned that around, I will say. In this current season, there's also a guy who is dating a 19-year-old Colombian woman, and he has given her $100,000 over the course of the last year to pay for her apartment, food, lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she lives like a very bougie kind of lifestyle. And now he's broke. He's hit hard times on his job. And so he's flying to Colombia to tell her basically like, sorry, I don't have any money, but you still love me, right? And that shit is about to hit the fan in, I think, the next episode. I can't wait.
It's tough to turn off the tap like that.
I know.
Cover. Have they met before in real life or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They met. He's visited her a couple of times, or one time maybe, and now he's coming back. At any rate, I love all the 90 Days because the variety of people that they have in there. Again, occasionally terrifying people like this sperm donation guy. But for the most part, just wildly entertaining. Gino and Jasmine are, like, I think, two of the best reality performers in the history of reality TV.
It's wildly entertaining. There's so much inherent drama in the culture clash and the meetings of the families and friends of just like kind of trying to justify a fast engagement or whatever, or moving to a country where you can't work.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. Oh, God. And the reason I asked that was the last season I was just trying to watch was that guy had only... He kept the lady on a FaceTime 24 hours a day because she didn't trust him.
Poor Brandon and Mary.
They had never met. No spoilers, but he
no
was
spoilers.
Going to,
do you know what's happened with them?
Going to her land. No. Don't tell me.
Oh, shit. All right.
I'm going to catch up.
Brandon and Mary
it's in
are
the
couple.
list.
I'm also watching a cartoon on Amazon called Invincible. Do you know of this?
No.
It's written by Robert Kirkman and some other guys, but he's the guy who wrote Walking Dead, the comic book. And so this is kind of like
Oh, I liked the show.
it's almost like The Boys a little bit. It's hyper violent, and it's kind of about like what would it be like if superheroes were real. And it's all centered
Love
around
that.
this one family of a guy named Omni-Man, who's like Superman basically, and he is married to a human woman. He's from another planet. He's married to a human woman. They have a son, and the son is invincible. That's his superhero name because he's inherited his father's powers. And then we learn a dark secret about the father at the end of season 1. Very dark. And the son has to like reconcile that and be like, am I going to go with my dad and do this dark shit, or am I going to be invincible?
Ooh,
It's great.
drama.
Highly recommend.
You know, the lead of The Boys was in +1.
Oh, really?
It's him and Maya from Mr. and Mrs. Smith
What?
and Pen 15. Maya Erskine.
They're
Right?
they're romantically involved?
Yes.
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
I recommend watching it. She's
Strange
so funny.
Yeah.
She's so funny. Everything she does,
Well,
especially drunk acting.
that's what
Well,
we're watching
that,
now.
that is what we're watching.
And now let's move on to all those tids that are fit to print.
This is Bachelor Nation News.
Two-time runner-up of Bachelorette seasons 10 and 11 and season 21 Bachelor, Nick Viall, and the woman who slid into his DMs without even knowing he was the Bachelor, Natalie Joy, are married. The Coachella enthusiasts were legally bonded at Joy's 300-acre family farm outside Savannah, Georgia on April 27th.
Of the venue, Viall told People magazine, "It's a place that has always been very special to Natalie. When I first visited, I was struck by its expansive landscape and vibrant colors." The wedding festivities began with a country chic welcome party on Friday, which included a mechanical bull, barbecue, and cutthroat games of cornhole.
The following day, the 170 guests were transported to the wedding ceremony in vintage trolley tour buses stocked with champagne and cocktails. Superstar players from the nation were, of course, in attendance. The Iaconettis, Ben Higgins, Victoria Fuller, who is also one of Joy's bridesmaids, and Chris Soules. They met up there after their dalliances some years ago. They all lent their star power to the event, and Dear Shandy's very own Charlene Joint and Andy Levine rendered officiant duties.
Cute. The Joyal Child River was also part of the ceremony, being held by Joy during the vows. Congrats to Clues' great one on this next chapter in his life. We wish the Joyals nothing but happiness and success as they live out their final days together on our dying world.
That's true, isn't it?
No notes.
Every day you wake up, you're living out your final days.
I mean, yeah, I guess. All of them?
Yeah.
Speaking of final days, no. Speaking of next chapters, Courtney Robertson welcomed baby number 3 into her family this week. The Bachelor season 16 ring winner and host of the After Reality podcast gave birth to her son, Gabriel Ricardo Preciado, with husband Humberto Preciado on Sunday, April.
I left the date off, sorry. I think that's 29, right? Sunday.
April. Let's look at a calendar.
It's
Sunday,
Sunday.
April 28th.
Hey.
Courtney took to Instagram to share some photos and make the announcement. Congrats to Courtney and her entire family.
Couldn't be happier for Courtney Robertson.
Yeah,
But
she has very cute babies. She should be the one who's addicted to it in 90 days to procreating.
I don't know
Next.
that guy's addicted to procreating. I think he's addicted to having people fly him around the world to masturbate into cups, essentially. Courtney wasn't the only member of Bachelor Nation having babies this week. One half of Bachelor Season 20's unforgettable dynamic duo, the Ferguson twins, Haley Ferguson, gave birth to a daughter with her husband, hockey player Ulla Palve, on the 27th. The Fergie took to Instagram to share photos of her baby girl, writing Lovi Levine Palvi, and then a pronunciation in brackets, Lovi. You're the love we've always known was coming.
You're the love, I think.
Oh.
That is. The other Fergie, Haley's sister Emily Ferguson, wrote, "Can't get over her dark hair. Love you so much, BB girl." Jen Saviano chimed in saying, "How beautiful is she? Congratulations, mama." And Andy Dorfman added, "Aw, congrats. So very happy for y'all. She's perfection." Congrats to Haley and her entire family on their new bundle of joy.
I love seeing the Fergies just out there still doing it. They are,
Yeah, they're great.
in my opinion, they're perhaps among the most underrated players that have ever been in our beloved game. To have to go head to head with your sister on a 2-on-1, to have to get dismissed in front of your mother on that 2-on-1, the things that they survived and went through, and to see them shining on the other side, both married to hockey players, having their babies. Congrats to them. Up next.
I mean, I'll never have my baby get in the Stanley Cup. I'm a loser.
Never say never about that. I think that's possible. Next up in Bachelor Nation news, Daisy Kent.
What about the Hollander twins, by the way?
Not close to this.
But don't you like what they're doing? They didn't do very well, but that now they're kind of acting as these backup dancers to Maria.
Yeah, they're doing what they can do, but like you didn't go on a 2-on-1 and one of you get dumped in front of your own mother.
Well, I'm not saying they beat the
And they're
Ferguson
not
twins, obviously.
And they're not twins.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, are we ever going to see a twin dynamic duo like the Fergies? Probably not. That bar is set very high. But I just feel like because they were twins, they're we got some time to wait. But those are fraternal twins.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
I'm using the term twins loosely. Sisters are twins.
Oh, I wasn't aware. Up next in Bachelor Nation news, Daisy Kent might not be having a baby this week, but perhaps she's laying the groundwork with her new boyfriend. That's right. The runner-up of Bachelor Season 28 and Turner Downer of The Bachelorette Season 21 crown appears to be getting serious with a new man, and she might be taking a page from the Madison Pruitt playbook because she's dating Thor Herbst, a professional racer for the Off-Road Desert Racing League Score International and the son of a very wealthy racing family known as, quote, the first family of desert racing in southern Nevada.
Wait, so the first family of desert racing in southern Nevada is going to pair up with the first family of Christmas tree farms in Minnesota?
That's what's happening right now, yeah.
Wow. They met in college at San Diego State University and reconnected after she left The Bachelor, with Thor reaching out to Daisy. They've taken a few trips together and attended that all-important Bachelor rite of passage, Stagecoach, together. Congrats to Daisy. We wish her all the love and money she can get.
This family is, I wasn't able to corroborate this, if they're billionaires or not. I did see in some circles they are mentioned as billionaires, but they at least have a lot of money. Maybe not billion, but they have a lot of money.
Good for her.
I agree. And wrapping up Bachelor Nation news, happy 1-year anniversary to Bachelorette Season 20's Charity Lawson and her ring winner, Dotun Olubeko. Charity took to Instagram to celebrate the milestone and wrote, quote, happy 1-year anniversary. We did it, babe. Even with the odds against us, you are the love that I didn't expect, but changed my life for the absolute better. The way you love me and who you are proves to be true day after day, that sometimes a good thing is just a good thing. I love you so much and forever grateful for you. And we in Bachelor Nation will forever be grateful for the incredible first fliceless season Charity and Dotun gave us. It was a turning point in Bachelor Nation, and we will remember it forever.
Yay!
Indeed. I really hope they last. I hope they make the... I mean, in thinking about this, fly sleeves. We are given Bachelorette 20. That couple's still together. We are given Golden Bachelor. That couple's still together. Nope. And then we're given Bachelor season 28. That couple's still together. 2 out of 3.
That's 66.66%.
Yeah. Not bad. We'll see.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. You know what else isn't bad? What's going on outside of the Bachelor Nation news? What's going on our phones? Perhaps in the primary universe. This is the parasocial play of the week. Last week was R.I.P. Griptoria, and this week is R.I.P. Coachella. Thank you for the parasocial plays you have provided. What was once the parasocial playground of the nation's players has dried up. Coachella is officially dead to the nation, and something has arisen in its place at the exact same location a week later, with the grounds slightly dustier and the music much countryer. Stagecoach.
God, speaking of music much countryer, I don't want to dangle this, but somebody's making an album, and it has turned out so far that it's all country. I have just completed a song called For the Right Reasons. Maybe I'll premiere it next week. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'm just going to drop it with my entire album. But
Country Clues, let's go.
yeah, it's turning out.
Can I steal you?
That's on there. Then you got For the Right Reasons.
Seasons 3 and 5?
No. Then you got I Love Cleveland is the next one I'm working on.
Oh, yes. That's so good.
Then you're going to have one called Love Levels. I got it all covered. Don't worry about it.
Okay. What about FIMP?
Oh, yeah, I could do that. First Impression, I'll probably call it.
DLP.
I don't know about that one. I'm trying to make
fine.
these songs like good, that you actually want to listen to them. And it's like you don't need to really know about Bachelor to like the songs. But if you do know about Bachelor, the lyrics mean something different to you, basically. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
That's kind of how I'm doing it, yeah. No, we already read this. Many of the heavy hitters knew this was the festy to not miss and posted a deluge of cowboy hats, bolo ties, and brand endorsements. Daisy Kent, Rachel Nance, Godwin, Thurston, Barber, Randolph, the Rachel Lindsay, the Hollinger twins, Gore
Okay,
Girl
not
Jason,
twins.
the Hollinger Sibs, Gore Girl Jason Tardik, the Gazeman Joey Gratzide, and his real world paramour,
Ring winner.
Ring winner Paramore. I didn't know what RW meant. Sorry. Kelsey Anderson. Even Meatball was there.
Yes. The prolific Christmas tree runner-up player, Daisy Kent, posted her and her friend jumping into the pool on TikTok during Stagecoach Day 2. It's literally them jumping in a pool. 2.7 million views.
Oh.
Huh?
Stagecoach is experiencing this thing right now. It's at its height, in my opinion. Will it be this big next year? Is it going to become Coachella? Too big? I don't know. Maria posted selfies.
I think we'll see like the ice ages. I think it'll go back and forth between Coachella and Stagecoach for all of time, depending on the lineups.
I'll roll with that. I think that's accurate. Maria posted selfies with both of the Taylor Lautners as well as headliner Lana Del Rey with the caption, quote, "The fact that the queen herself watched The Bachelor meant everything to me. She is everything and more, red heart emoji." More importantly, she posted with Enemy of Shirts and Clues and Pacecase's bestie, who invited them to all of his parties, Tyler Cameron.
There was notably missing, though, a few heavy hitters due to a scheduling conflict of the ages, like Barbenheimer. We don't know whether this conflict was intentional or not, but Stagecoach competed with the weekend of the similarly country-themed Joyal wedding. Bachelor Nation's Team Joyal all posted about the wedding. Grocery, Serena, Natasha Parker, Victoria Fuller, Dear Shandy, and the Iaconettis, etc.
Joy and Viall's joint reel about their welcome party with the caption, quote, "The welcome party was giving love and country chic raked in 2.8 million views and 122K likes. Viall's wedding reel includes dramatic slow-mo and voiceovers, the first of which is someone's speech saying, quote, 'Welcome to a very special episode of the Viall Files,' to laughter. The caption reads, quote,
LOL.
all I wanted to do was give Natalie the wedding of her dreams, and it turned out to be the wedding of my dreams, too. Natalie's
Tearing fairy tales to shreds.
Natalie's an artist. Every moment was her vision, and it was my greatest gift to create it with her. It exceeded my wildest expectations. A weekend will
I'm
cherish
glad you got this one.
for the rest of our lives. I can't take this shit. Wish you all could have experienced it firsthand. We'll share more soon. Movie camera emoji, sorry, at Lucy Cameron Films. Lucy Cameron Films. Natalie's an artist. Every moment was her
It's
vision.
so good.
And it was my greatest
so good.
gift to create it with her.
Creators. Maria Georgas and Rachel Nance hilariously recreated their small rose ceremony tiff about Maria's Hail Mary on Maria's Instagram story and Nance's TikTok, where she racked up 150K likes and 1.2 million views. Brilliant.
Jill Chin and Rachel Recchia made cute English countryside road trip content on Rachel Recchia's TikTok, as well as a hilarious colonization-themed one of Chin making cringe face plays at a museum under the chyron, quote, "When you realize there are no British artifacts at the British Museum." 140.6K views.
Hannah Brown recreated the popular Taylor Swift meme line, "You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me," on TikTok, cutting from an image of her to an image of her on The Bachelorette, with the caption, "I'm sure y'all could guess where it was going to be. Crying, laughing emoji, tilted, all jokes, hashtag Bachelorette, hashtag Taylor Swift." I love when they do like all jokes. Like, obviously I'm kidding when they're like roasting.
Yeah.
20.5K likes, 240.2K views.
Yeah. It's like the producers locked me in a basement for 3 days without food and water, and I had to survive on my own urine. All jokes.
LOLJK, hashtag The Bachelorette.
I'm suing the producers for wrongful imprisonment. All jokes. Ha 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 ha. All of these were strong plays. However, there can be only one winner. Our Parasocial Play of the Week goes to a repeat back-to-back winner, Maria Georgas, and Call Her Daddy's marketing team. They made a joint play. A real ad for their Call Her Daddy.
Call Her Daddy.
For their I was like CHD for their Call Her Daddy app of Alex interviewing Maria, and then Maria declaring, "I'm going to slip into something more comfortable." Her signature taut outfit change play, 5.3 million views. In Call Her Daddy's subsequent reel, decked out in Call Her Daddy merch, Maria performs the splits all over the Call Her Daddy studio with Alex and a bunch of prop roses, 2 million views. Maria's still image post of the outfit change with the caption, quote, "Slipped into something more comfortable, ... for real this time, rose emoji," garnered 200K likes. We believe Georgia's getting the all clear to go on Call Her Daddy this early in her contract hopefully spells the dawning of a new age, and this Parasocial Play of the Week elegantly lives up to the hype of such an event. Congratulations, Maria. She deserves it.
It was so good. She got all her bits in there.
I agree. I just think we're witnessing something
The
new
splits,
in Bachelor Nation,
the outfit change,
and it requires a special player. Like, let's not overlook this. Yes, the event itself that Maria went on Call Her Daddy, that any player from Bachelor Nation went on Call Her Daddy while still under contract to discuss rejecting the crown, to discuss, I mean, she's discussing open plays, manipulations that she was doing in the show as well.
to discuss which of our great ones she hooked up with.
That's true. She also has some edit contradictions. There were a lot of contract violations in that interview. And for the producers to allow it, and I assume not sue her, means that she is a special player who warrants this type of treatment. And hopefully it's going to open the door for other players to have it as well. That's simply my hope.
Parasocial creature.
Did we have one this week?
No, but I just said Lulu's Lulu DLP's doodle.
Oh, Parasocial Creature of the Week, Lulu DLP's doodle. Congratulations.
Congrats.
All right, now let's scream, Pace Case. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Screams from the pit.
My scream is your scream. We all scream together. This scream is not for screeners. This scream is our joint scream about an interview that we recorded Tuesday. We're recording this on Thursday, May 2nd. It's not going to air for about 1 week, but this is our biggest interview we've ever gotten.
Yes. Absolutely
and
is.
It was an incredible interview. I think everyone is going to love it. And I couldn't believe it was real and happening. And it's my scream.
I would say it's my scream as well. I could, however, believe that it was real and happening because this is what
classic.
the pit does, you see.
Yeah.
This is an interview that we talked about really wanting to have since the first episode of this show. And
Big hint.
yeah, and it happened. And I think it's only onward and upward. This is part and parcel with 2020 Gore. If we manifest something into the pit will manifest it into the world, and it will become real. So the screeners better be coming.
All of the Mount Rushmore of Bachelor Nation, I think we're going to interview this year.
I think so too.
It's incredible.
We're definitely checking them off the list. And it was a fantastic interview. It wasn't just about being able to do it. The conversation was really good. And there was a lot of open gameplay talk. There was a lot of real sport analysis of our beloved game that I was like so happy that this person went there with us on those
Not
conversations.
expecting, but a happy surprise to get this. I can't wait for you all to listen or watch it on our YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be on both. But yeah, I would guess that is my scream as well. There's just nothing. I've had some other Bachelor related things obviously happening every day of my life, of course. That's never going to change.
A scream for every day.
I mean, there basically is. How many times, like, if I am in a conversation with a stranger at this point for more than 30 seconds, you will be talking about The Bachelor with me. That's how it is. Uber driver, person at the grocery store, et cetera, et cetera. But I agree with you. The interview we got to do
Steel
this week
sharpens steel, I guess.
What you're saying, these strangers who don't even watch The Bachelor know what it is or steal? I'm just steamrolling some poor person who's like, oh God, I don't even have a TV.
You're practicing talking about The Bachelor.
Yeah, that's true.
In your off hours.
Got to keep my steel sharp. And speaking...
No, it's like there's nothing that sticks out. What we're saying, we have daily screams, but nothing sticks out like this event to me this week that it eclipses it all. And I know we can't reveal it just yet, but only a week.
Yeah, 1 week away. It'll be next Friday that this comes out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well...
First season.
Is it?
Yes. My birthday is coming up in a week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That Maria Georgas interview also had a lot of astrology talk in it that was lost on me.
I can't wait. I didn't want to watch it until I was watching The Corner, so...
Nice. Yeah.
I can't wait. And we're going to be talking about it on Digging Deeper, too.
That is true. Of course. But now let's talk about another scream, Pace Case. As everybody out there knows, we're not the only ones screaming. Anybody's in the pit, you're screaming. And if you want to give us your screams to play right here on This Week in Bachelor Nation, all you do is go to Game of Roses Patreon, which is at patreon.com/GameOfRoses. You get on our Discord with that Patreon, and then you issue forth your scream in a 1 minute or shorter audio clip. There's a channel in our Discord called Submit Your Screams. Put it in there, and we play the best ones here. Are you ready for today's Pace Case?
Let's go.
Here we go.
Hey, Pace Case. Hey, Bachelor Clues. Here's the deal. My name is Gabriel, and I am getting married on May the 4th. Yes, I am a Star Wars fan, and I will have a lightsaber in my suit. But I'm also crazy deep in the pit. And we're going to be getting married at the exact venue that the Seattle Love is Blind weddings took place. We are going to be using goldware. We are going to have a trader's style rehearsal dinner. Our bartenders are going to be serving drinks called 4TRR and 4TWR. Here's the thing. I need you to help me. What sort of rad quote can I insert into my vows from my favorite show of all time, The Bachelor? I love it. And I always have since the beginning. Please help me. Let me know what you think. Thank you. Cheers.
So what do you think? How can we help Gabriel?
My
First of
mind
all,
went to one quote, but I can't say it.
what? Imply it. What do you mean?
I don't think you want to quote someone who has been canceled.
Oh, I see. Gabriel, thank you for the scream. This is a high-level scream.
I'm a happily married man. And you just say that after you say, I want to.
Hello.
I want to one day say to myself, I'm a happily married man.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Gabriel, and I'm not the Bachelor. I'm a happily married man.
Yeah. Just like that. It's
Gabriel,
perfect.
thank you for the scream. This is a high-level scream. Once you're incorporating your fandom of The Bachelor into these giant life moments like being married, you're in the pit pretty deep. I
love the reality TV theme, the
I
traders
do too.
dinner and stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
I
I
think
want to
it's-
know what those drinks are for 4TRR and 4TWR.
Oh yeah, what are they? What are they made of? I'm curious about that too.
4TRR is like, it's like a non-alcoholic
Right.
Arnold
Shirley Temple
Palmer.
type.
Shirley
Sure.
Temple.
Yeah.
4TWR is
Straight vodka.
Four Loko.
Yeah. It's Four Loko and Fireball mixed.
Yeah.
This is
It's
what I would say.
espresso martini.
This is, I think, no surprise coming from me. What I would say, the quote I would insert is, "You took things from me, and I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want you to take everything from me, including how much I love you." I would say something like this, or I would say, "How could you make love to me if you weren't in love with me?" I might say that and spin it some way, you know.
How about I know we've been living in sin, but guess what, everyone? I did have sex, and Jesus still loves me.
That's a good one. Or even from that season, "I'll be your Mr. Right girl."
No.
Yeah. Why not just do that right there
Add
at
a
the
guitar.
altar? Yes.
Add a guitar at the altar. Secret
Bring a guitar and-
hide it under your coat.
Perform a Jed Wyatt original. That might be a way to go. What else? I mean, there's just so many, you know.
I mean, I think you do, you know, what are the famous proposal ones? Are there any?
1,000 times yes.
1,000 times yes. I mean, everyone should include that. I feel like that's already baked in.
Yeah, 1,000 times yes is good. But I don't know. I tend to lean toward the non-proposal ones, honestly. I tend to just go toward Nick Viall quotes. Let's be real with everyone. here.
Classic. Yeah.
That's that's how I see the show, through that lens of Viall quotes. But we cannot say
You could do a
congrats
challenging
enough.
one.
Oh,
Taj can't pee, Taj can't poop.
interesting. I don't know how that really factors into a
Exactly.
wedding
It's a
ceremony,
challenge.
but
How do you incorporate it?
definitely. I mean, I don't think you want the specter of divorce hanging over your marriage, but you could just say, "Don't stop believing." Huh? I found somebody
I don't think you want that stain on love on your wedding.
can't live without. There's a lot of good choices. I would go with the Viall one. I would go with "You took things from me," and I'm okay with that. Personally, that's what I would do. But who knows? Anybody else?
Let the
Sound off in
journey
the comments.
begin.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Let the journey begin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. At any rate, thank you so much for this scream. If anybody
That
else
being
wants to,
said, that's an easy one to get in there.
that, or now I can now fully, comfortably say, you know how they always say that, like, now that you've met my family, I can confidently say I'm falling in love with you. Something like that.
Oh no.
I can confidently say is usually a good little preface. I would go with something like that. At any rate, thank you for sending in the scream. We enjoyed it thoroughly. It is a very deep, dark scream, and we hope that wedding is the time of your life. It sounds really fun.
Yes.
Unlike every Tyler Cameron event, we were not invited.
Have a fun wedding. It'll be the day after this episode airs.
Oh, that's true. So hopefully we got in just under the wire with our good advice.
Yeah, maybe play a recording of this in the vows.
No, don't do that. Do not do that. But we hope it goes off without a hitch, and we look forward to maybe seeing some posts about it. Tag us in your wedding posts, and we'll repost them
For the
you
rest of
if
your
you
living
haven't.
days, I hope they're filled with love.
Absolutely. And we hope everyone's rest of your living days are filled with love as well. As we head into the weekend, we'll be back next week with many more episodes, including that one next Friday, which I think is going to be very good. Until then,
Good episode.
until then, Pace Case, what is that dwab at?
It's been 8,075 days without an Asian bachelor. Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then